Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for a public portion of the meeting. And first, we start out with item number three, called General Matters. And we start off with item 3.01, which is our land acknowledgement and FMSD mission statements. I'll have our Vice President Stephen Sanchez lead us in the land acknowledgement statement.
Thank you. We acknowledge that the Franklin-McKinley School District and our schools are located in the Maloney Nation, the sovereign nation and original sky, land, and water, where we learn and we learn. for their community and these lands.
We're very privileged to have Thank you. Thank you for the principal for bringing them. Thank you very much, everybody. At this time, we go on to item 3.03 to approve or disapprove additions to the agenda.
So we're going to start reverse since it's always windmills always at the end. Make sure you pay attention. We're going to go in reverse. So from Windmill Springs, yes. Silverdale, Christina Marie Trujillo. So excited. From Santee, Sofia Chelas Lazaro. From Daniel Lebon, Gerardo Valerio Gonzalez. Anda Lopez. From Hellier, Daniela Grace Estrada. Celia Lomelí. Captain Jason Dahl, Francisco Garcia Jr., TCA, Haley Marie Lopez Zuniga, and last but not least, from Just Academy, Matthew Galvez. Now for staff. These awards are in recognition of our core values of student focus, leadership, integrity, respect, innovation, and teamwork. Staff are nominated by their peers for their the exemplary work that they do, and they're being recognized under these core values. So, under student focus, from Silverdale, Rio. Under the core value of leadership, Meadows, Josephine Vasquez. Under the of integrity from the special ed department, Irlinda Maestas. Under the core value of respect, this academy, Duncan. Under the core value of education, Leslie Rosas. And under the core value of teamwork, Kennedy, Salisha Hutchinson. And she also serves Windmill Springs. So let's give a big round. And our state award recipient. There's cake and coffee out in the, and then we'll get research ready for the public hearing. Make this order. Test one, two, three, test one, two, three. Test one, two, test one, two, three. Sounds good. Test one, two, three. Test one, two. Sounds good, right? Good. That was a lot better though, right? Test one, two. It's
The 12-1, that's what.
So let's started. So just should be able to during the presentation from Dr. Short can get a translating device over by the back over here. And then this way, when they're presenting in English, they'll translate in Spanish and Vietnamese. Si necesitan traducción en español cuando están presentando el disco de Market, traducción de los orígenes para poder explicarlo en español. And I don't know if you want to say it in Vietnamese.
Nếu cần thông dịch, xin vui lòng tới cuối phòng.
Then we have speak in Spanish. So that we can understand what you're saying and we don't have to have somebody else translate and spend more time going back and forth. Our translators will translate in English what is being said at the podium in Spanish or Vietnamese. Okay? Right.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to item number 5 on our agenda, and that involves the hearing. So at this point, item 5.01, we open the public for petition for the review of charter school partnership Spark Academy. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Trujillo to go ahead and introduce the leadership from Spark Academy. Dr. Trujillo.
Good evening, board. Excited to be in front of you today to talk about the Rocket Ship Spark active petition that's set to expire June 30th of the 2026 year. Their petition renewal is currently being reviewed by district personnel, and we will post a review 15 days, no later than 15 days after this hearing. So that day is technically on Friday. So we will have that ready to go for their team to review as well. And we'll be ready to go for the final hearing, which is set to take place on December 9th. And without further ado, I will defer to the amazing Rocket Ship Spark team who will determine if they're going to start with their presentation or the speakers.
Good evening. We'll go ahead and get started with our presentation, and then we'll move on to our speakers. Thank you. It feels so good to be back here again with all of you. So officially, good evening, President Sanchez, Vice President Sanchez, trustees, superintendent, staff, and all of our families and Rocketeers that are in the space with us to celebrate and honor this moment as well. My name is Janine Ramirez. I am a proud first-generation college student. I am Latina education advocate and a member of this community, joining you here today to talk about Rocket Ship Public Schools alongside so many of our staff and students and families. At Rocket Ship, we believe that great schools are the foundation of the American promise of equal opportunity for all. Next slide, please. It's why my parents came to this country, and it's why so many of our families. Oh, I do it. All right, just kidding. And it's why so many of our families entrust us with their children each day. Our families work incredibly hard, often while navigating real barriers to opportunity. We see that, we feel it, And we exist to make sure that those barriers don't decide a child's future. Every child deserves a school that meets them with excellence, with belief, and with possibility. Our vision is simple: equal access to opportunity for all. And it starts with a strong academic foundation in those early years. And I'll do my own next slide. When our prepared students and engaged parents move on to middle school across this community, those schools welcome learners who are ready for the rigor and parents who know how to partner, advocate, and participate, middle school and beyond. They bring stability, engagement, and momentum with them. Strong elementary schools create stronger middle schools, which then creates stronger high schools. That cycle lifts an entire community. It changes the cycle that many of us came from. And we know our model works. In a major national study of 3 million public school students, Stanford Center for Research on Education Outcomes identified Rocketship as one of the nation's gap-busting school networks. On average, our Rocketeers gain the equivalent of more than 5 additional months of learning in a single year. That's 96 extra days in reading and 138 days in reading in math compared to peers statewide. Growing more than a grade level in a single year is how we close achievement gaps for students who have historically been underserved. This is how we change trajectories, and this is the work that we are proud to say we are doing at Rocketship Spark. So with that, I am honored to introduce you all to our incredible principal, Zach Turner.
Thank you, Janine. Good evening, President Sanchez and trustees. My name is Zach Turner, and I am the proud returning principal of Rocketship Spark Academy. This is my 11th year in education, 9th with Rocketship, 5th in school leadership, and 2nd year as Spark's proud principal. Even though it's just my 2nd year as Spark's principal, I already feel so connected to and inspired by our community. It quickly became home to me. This team, our Sparketeers and their families, we're all a family. And this feeling is due to my own upbringing. My mom is a retired special education teacher of 30 years. I was a student at her elementary school, and I got to witness firsthand her passion for lifelong learning, as well as when she advocated for my own learning needs. While my mom is a part of my personal why for entering education, now my why continues to be fueled, reignited each day by our students and families, including nearly a dozen Spark staff who trust our team with their own children's education. I'll do my own slides. The first embers that fueled the opening of our school were lit by the families in our community. After this board graciously granted a charter for our school in 2013, our families decided on the name Rocketship Spark Academy, sharing that they wanted a school that ignited change in the community. What those families may not have realized is that they were the spark, igniting something different, something intentional. And more than a decade later, they still are. Just a couple of weeks ago, we hosted our fall trunk or treat, an event that welcomed over 200 families for a joyful evening on campus. Some of you were even there to experience the fun. In the new year, we also look forward to Spark's annual TET celebration, brought to life by our rock star 3rd grade STEM teacher, Miss Lan. In collaboration with our families, Miss Lan organizes an amazing event, coordinating a lion dance led by some current and alumni Sparketeers. These incredible events are just one way that we seek to bring our diverse community together. Our families are true partners. Each year, our team visits every home. And this year, we have completed 490 home visits by the 1st of November. Those visits build the trust that anchors everything we do. We hold 3 family teacher conferences each year, and teachers stay connected with regular updates so families always know their Sparketeers' progress. Our families also have voice, serving on our school site council, regional advisory board, and even the rocket ship board of directors, where Spark parent Mai Huang Ho Tran proudly served a 2-year term from 2020 to 2022. Family partnership isn't just a checkbox at Spark, it's part of who we are. But it's the little consistent moments as well, with daily social and emotional learning about ourselves, others, and our differences, respect for and support of multilingual learning, and support of diverse learning needs through specialized inclusion. At Rocket Ship Spark Academy, we proudly serve all students and seek to reflect the diversity of our Franklin-McKinley community. At Rocket Ship Spark Academy, our results speak for themselves. Spark either meets or outperforms both the state and district averages across every major indicator on the California School Dashboard. This means that year over year, our Rocketeers are achieving at the same or higher levels than their peers across California, not just among charter schools, but across all public schools. These results reaffirm what our families and educators see every day. Our model works. Our data-driven instruction, personalized learning, and deep family partnerships are delivering real, measurable gains for our students, especially those who have been historically underserved. As you can see here from the 24-25 California State Assessment, we are proud that Spark continued to rank as one of Franklin-McKinley's top performing schools. Our Rocketeers are demonstrating strong outcomes in both ELA and math, proof that a high quality education is not determined by zip code, but by opportunity and support. And even more importantly, Spark is a top school for socioeconomically disadvantaged students, as you can see here as well. This is the heart of our mission, ensuring that every child, regardless of background, has access to an excellent education. These results show that Spark is truly closing gaps and helping every Rocketeer discover their spark. While we are proud of these results and our Rocketeers' achievement, we are not satisfied, and we continue striving toward our mission of 100% of Rocketeers being on grade level. Strong academic outcomes go hand in hand with strong community demand. For the past 5 years, Rocket Ship Spark's enrollment has remained stable around 550 students, and we have maintained a wait list averaging 30 students. Families know that Spark is a place where children thrive. In our most recent parent survey, over 3/4 of our families said that they already have or would recommend Rocket Ship Spark to a friend. This kind of trust is not built overnight. It's earned through years of partnership, communication, and shared commitment to student success. We're deeply grateful to the Franklin-McKinley School District for continuing to provide families with the opportunity to choose a high-quality public education that meets their child's needs. At Rocket Ship Spark, our focus this year is simple but meaningful, helping every Rocketeer discover their spark. First, we're building deeper partnerships with our families from the very start of the year. That means that our teachers are conducting home visits early on, creating consistent lines of communication, and ensuring that parents feel seen and valued as their child's first and foremost, most important teacher. Second, we're using data and differentiated instruction to ensure that every student is supported to meet their personalized learning goals. Our teachers leverage ongoing assessments and small group instruction tailored to each Rocketeer's learning needs, and whether a student needs a targeted intervention or an additional push or challenge. Our data-driven approach aims for every student to experience the growth they deserve. And third, we're centering our school culture on building a love of reading. We know literacy is the foundation for lifelong learning. Across classrooms, you'll see joy in reading, from our read alouds to book swaps to even family literacy nights that some of you are able to attend, all designed to help students not only read proficiently, but to love reading. Our priorities reflect what the entire Spark community values. We're not just helping students master academics, we're helping them find joy, confidence, and purpose in their learning to truly discover their spark. Thank you in supporting Rocket Ship Spark Academy for 5 more years.
Thank you very much, Principal Zach Turner, for that excellent presentation. So we would like to ask questions at this time, of Principal Turner. Board members, do you have any questions for the principal before we go to comments? Yes.
Yes, I had one question. I probably had a couple more, but that's okay. I just want to ask this. You mentioned that you measure individual students' progress individually, and I appreciate that, especially being a special educator myself. But as we know, I use 504s and IEPs. So I'm curious of how 550 students regularly last several years. How do you measure students' academic progress, and what's your response to that?
Thank you, Trustee Cooper, for that question. It's an excellent one. We have so many different ways that we, not only at Rocket Ship Spark, but Rocket Ship as a region and a network, track students' progress. We have a extensive curriculum embedded assessments through curricula that are vetted and used across classrooms in America, including Eureka for math and CKLA for our humanities. And using these ongoing assessments paired with our data days that happen 3 times per year, as well as ongoing common planning time with our teachers, where I have my incredible instructional leaders behind me here. We actually partner weekly with our teachers to be able to analyze our curriculum embedded assessments, to be able to create those small group lessons, that targeted instruction, rethink our actual groupings of students on a weekly basis, and then of course more cyclically a few times a year once we get those bigger pieces of data in from say NWEA.
Other board members, questions? Yes, Board Member Rodriguez.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I do have just one question, and I'm not sure if you know on the top of your head, but it might be in the petition. What do you know the percentage of your enrollment is from in-district, in FMSD district, and out of district?
Yes. Thank you so much, Trustee Rodriguez, for that question. Of our 569 students as of today, 40% of our students are from in-district. The rest of the students are out of the Franklin-McKinley School District,
Nice.
with about another 40% actually coming from Oak Grove and Evergreen. So not within Franklin-McKinley, within the surrounding areas.
So are you saying that the majority of your students are from outside our district?
40% of students at Spark are live within the Franklin-McKinley.
But
district.
60% are from outside the district,
Correct.
right? Okay, thanks.
Over here, any other questions, board members? No? Okay, well, thank you very much, and I know we have some other comments at this time. Let me take a seat, and we'll have the other members of your committee come up at this time. And we start with Vin. Vin Lay, and we're gonna give 3 minutes to each person.
Thank you. So good evening, member of the board, and good evening, Spark community. My name is Vin, and my daughter is a TK student at Rocket Ship Spark. I want to share how strong family participation at the school has supported my child growth and helped us feel true education. Every morning we begin with lunch, where student, teacher, and family come together to set goals and do the week. It doesn't just start a day, and show that school and home are working together. Communication is excellent. Weekly summary, videos, and regular updates help me stay engaged and support what's happening inside the classroom. Events like Back to School Night, Los Teachers, and communities give family the opportunity to connect and feel part of the school and community. Because of this strong partnership, my child is more motivated and excited to learn. Family is the Spark Foundation, and it truly make a big difference. Thank you so much for your time and for considering the impact of Spark Family Engagement Head on our children and our community. Thank you for listening. All right, thank you. 7, it's 2 minutes.
Hi, I am Elena Cortez, and I am a former Rocketeer, and I'm currently in 7th grade. I went to Spark from TK to 4th grade, and when I went there, I felt very welcomed by the teachers, and I felt like it was a safe environment. The teachers were always very nice, and they made me feel comfortable around them. And throughout my time being there, like I wasn't really good at like my main subject that I wasn't really good at was math, and my teacher Miss Land, she was able to help me. And then also my other teachers are also able to help me like get through with rocket ship, and I was able to graduate. Today I still consider the teachers rocket ship, even if like they don't teach there anymore. I still consider like a lot of them my favorite, even though I'm not also there since I'm not in elementary. Rocketship Spark impacted me in a positive way and significantly, and it still does today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lena. I was gonna ask Alina what school she's going to this year. Alina. Come back.
I go to Cape Heritage.
Thank you. All right. Now we have Rebecca. Yes, Rebecca Mendes.
Hoping my little boy can see me from. Hi, my name's Rebecca Mendez. I'm a mom of a kindergarten here at Rocket Ship Spark, and this is our very first year. Thank you for being here, and I'd like to share a bit of my journey. I'm originally from Australia. I'm Hispanic by heritage, and I married a proud Filipino American. So you can say my family's diverse. Like many families, we sent our COVID baby off to school this year, and that was both exciting and scary. Starting motherhood in a new country during such an uncertain time made me wonder what school would be like for my son. Back home, I was familiar with Montessori, so we enrolled him in a similar daycare here in San Jose. When we bought our home just a mile from Rocket Ship, we had no idea how lucky we were to be near 2 public charter schools. After researching, we applied and we were accepted at Spark. When orientation came around, my family from Australia happened to be visiting. We all came to see what my son now calls his big school, and it just felt right. The uniforms reminded me of home. And yes, that means less laundry is a bonus. But more importantly, the diversity and warmth stood out. Since then, my son has grown to love school. The transition wasn't easy, but the staff, the community at Spark made it smoother. I know my child and his peers are truly seen and supported here. Recently, our younger son, who is 2 years old, was diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. Navigating that has been emotional, but knowing Spark has resources and a team to support family like ours brings me so much comfort. Spark shows they care not only academically, but for the whole child and their family. Ooh. Sorry.
Thank you. Next up, Emma. Emma Van.
My name is Emma Van, and I'm a proud I'm a Spark alumna. I'm currently an 8th grader at Kip Hartwoods. I went to Rocket Ship from kindergarten through 4th grade. I was there for about 5 years. Something that I love most about Spark was how caring the teachers were, and they didn't just focus on my grades. but they really cared about me as a person. People like Miss Andres and others helped me open up and become more confident, and teachers like Miss Ellie and Miss Lamb taught me lessons that went beyond the classroom. Anytime I was feeling down, or like many teachers, were supported me, such as like Miss Ellie, Miss Lamb, Miss Polito, Miss Gomez, Miss Daisy, and others who no longer work at Rockship but still left a big impact on me. I'm doing really well in middle school thanks to my foundation from Spark. I will always be grateful for my time and all the teachers who have helped me grow throughout my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. And next we have Alex Castanon. Alex.
Good evening, board members. My name is Alex Castagnon, and I'm a parent of two fourth graders at Rocket Ship Spark. We've been part of this community for 5 years. I want to share what it's meant to my family. When we first joined, I wasn't sure how comfortable I'd feel being on campus or around other parents. But over time, that completely changed. Now when I pick up my girls, I feel like I truly belong there. Programs like Los Dichos and other opportunities to be in the classroom have made a huge difference. Reading with students and joining class activities doesn't just make my daughters happy. It makes me proud and comfortable being part of their school experience. It's also inspiring to see other parents showing up, supporting each other, and working as one team. These experiences have helped my daughters socialize and helped me build real connections. They've shown me that there is space for all of us to belong. I'm grateful for this community. Spark feels like a home for me and my children. I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Next, we're gonna have Karen Vasquez. Karen Vasquez.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen, and my daughter Victoria currently attends kindergarten at Sparks Academy. When Victoria first started, she really didn't know how to express her feelings or emotions. She was very shy, and it was hard for her to open up. But over the course, I've watched her grow into a confident little girl who can communicate her emotions and speak for herself with clarity and pride. One of the things that I value most is that the school has truly partnered with us as parents. They didn't push us aside. They integrated my involvement and work with me as a team to support Victoria's future, not just academically, but also growing as a human being, learning kind, responsibility, and to be part of her community. The creed they recite every morning has reinstated and reinforced the values students are encouraged to follow. Victoria struggled with blending and reading at the beginning of the year, and right away, the teachers provided tutoring and even taught me activities to practice with her at home. Now she's made real growth in blending, and we're so proud as parents. Most importantly, this school provides a safe and welcoming environment where children and families feel protected, supported, and heard. They prioritize safety and care in everything they do. I'm truly grateful for the programs, the teamwork, and the commitment that help both my daughter and us as parents thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And next we have Flores. My name.
Gonna put that to 0. I can be here up all night talking.
You have 15 minutes.
Okay.
No, I'm very
Okay. Hello, my name is Marina Flores. This is my son, Alfredo, Raul, El, and Nicholas. My husband couldn't. Sorry, but he had to work. I am a proud Rocket parent. My family has been part of Spark since it opened, so that's a long time. All 4 of my sons graduated. My youngest graduated last year, but we are still part of this. That is why we are here today. You have heard and will hear more about Spark's academic excellence. I want to discuss the importance of community family. Rocketship knows that students do better when their parents are involved. Spark encourages parents to participate in school events, those details, coffee with the principal, conferences, and my personal favorite is the Vietnamese. It's really fun. Try to go to that. I have also seen how much families grow. I have seen how parents who did not speak English at the start of the year become confident speakers by the end of the year. I have seen parents leaders. I have seen parents join Rocketship as staff. And I truly believe that this is because of Spark's family participation. Their dedication inspires me. I also want to acknowledge the teachers and staff who work so hard to support our children at Spark, at home, and in our community. The home visits help build real partnerships between the school and family. We continue to maintain contact with teachers and staff. Rocketship Spark is more than a school. Spark is special. Spark is an exceptional school. We want an award. Spark is a community. Spark is an important asset to our community. Spark will always be part of the family. I hope my words have encouraged you to vote yes, Spark's renewal. Thank you.
And thank you, Marina. Thank you.
I've met you.
Thank you for the great work. Still there. Guys, police of this coming year. Next, Elizabeth Franco. Elizabeth Franco.
Good evening, board members. My name is Elizabeth, mother of 2 Spark students. For nearly 5.5 years, I've been a source of hope of healing my family. My daughter, nonverbal, on the autism spectrum. When she started kindergarten during the pandemic, I was terrified. I didn't know if I would be understood or if she would be understood or overlooked, but Spark became a place where those fears softened. Ms. Powers and the entire staff did more than support her. They embraced her, they learned her, celebrated her, and helped her reach milestones I once wasn't sure she would meet. Even more touching has been kindness from her classmates. Despite of her challenges, they show her patience, compassion, and genuine friendship. Watching children extend such empathy to someone who communicates differently tells me everything about the values of Spark instills. It brings me to tears knowing my daughter's surrounded by peers who accept her exactly as she is. Spark is not just a school for us, it is the only place where my daughter truly feels understood and safe and included. This community has helped her grow in ways I could pray for. I hope you renew Spark, not only for my daughter, but for all the children who depend on the school that sees their potential and meets their needs with heart. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Next we have Adam. Oh,
Hello. I'm gonna begin by saying that if I start crying, I'm just so sorry. Spark means a lot to me and the kids, so I get very emotional speaking about them. But hello, my name is Adilene Pulido, and I am the 1st grade learning lab teacher at Rocketship Spark. I've been a part of this amazing community for about 7 years. I started at the YMCA, then joined Spark as the part of the operationals team, helping with lunches and supporting wherever I was needed. Spark didn't just give me a job, They gave me a purpose. They saw potential in me before I saw it in myself. Because of their beliefs and support, I was able to attend Beach University. And this December, I will be earning my bachelor's degree. And now I'm on track to getting my teaching credentials. And thanks to this community's encouragement and faith in me. And also the kids, because I not see myself in the school. Literally all the kids the kids you have been seeing, I have been seeing them grow up, and it's just so bittersweet to see. But Spark has truly changed my life. The students, the families, and the staff have inspired me to grow and reminded me why education matters. Because of Spark, I am who I am today, and that's why it is so important that our school continues for another 5 years and beyond to keep changing lives just like it changed mine. So please, please keep these 5 years in consideration. Our kids really, really need a school and opportunities just like I had. Yes, I may be old enough where you're like, oh my gosh, she's barely getting her back. But trust me, I did not see myself graduating, but that's thanks to Spark and all the amazing people that are there to support. So please, please, please keep us in consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm Guerrero.
Hi, my name is Ilani. I'm in the 4th grade and I've been at Rocket Ship since TK, so this is basically my 6th year here. When I first started, I was afraid about how people would treat me, but everyone here was so much nicer than I imagined. People listen to me when I talk and make me feel welcome. I feel safe at school knowing the adults on campus really care about me and I know that they will protect me. They make me excited to come to school every single day. I always look forward to learning new things. Right now, Miss Ball's class, we're about fractions, and it's actually really fun. Whenever I have a question, my teachers always take the time to listen to me and help me understand my question that I'm asking them. And it really means a lot to me because it shows that they really care about me. That is the end. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you, Alani. Next, we have Fernanda Rodriguez.
Hi. Hi, my name is Muffet. I am in 4th grade. I have been at Rocket Ship Spark since 2nd grade. When I first came here, I was scared because I didn't know English. But my teacher, Miss Lucy and Miss Polido, spoke Spanish and helped me feel safe. They were really kind and even made sure I had a partner who could help me in class. Because of their support, I can speak English so much better. And in 3rd grade, all my teachers made sure I understood my work and helped me whenever I had a problem. They always encouraged me and made sure I finished what I needed to do. I am really grateful for how much they have helped me grow. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Maria. And next, we have Beso Beto and Meron.
Hi, I am Bethel, and I'm a 4th grader here at Roxas Park. I've been here since kindergarten, so this is my 5th year. And one of the things I love most about our school is how it brings students, teachers, and parents together through activities like Los Teachers, Launch, and Landing. These events really help us feel like a strong, connected community. I also love how teachers explain things in ways that make learning easier and more fun for everyone. Roxas Park celebrates different cultures and holidays, which I think is really special. I appreciate not just our teachers, but also our wellness counselor, school leaders, and all the staff who care about us and make sure we are supported. I appreciate how Rockship celebrates and rewards everyone, starting from students, teachers, parents, and staff, which shows so much how our community values in each other. I appreciate all people who have came, and it means a lot to me, but not just to me, to Spark. And thank you for your time.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, and that's the last speaker we had. Thank you very much, everyone. How about a round of applause for all the speakers? At this point, we close the public hearing. Thank you, parents, students for being here. And I did visit your school about a month ago. I was there, spent some time with you. And I appreciate that very much. I was able to listen there firsthand to the comments you made to see the school and see for a while. It's in excellent shape. Good job and great testimony that you brought this definitely help us make a decision. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll take just a few right now. Thank you for being here this evening.
Happy hour after 9 o'clock. I'm tired too. I'm going home now.
So much.
Large.
But there's extra large.
Okay.
This one fits you.
Your mic's on. Your mic's on.
Oh.
I know. Asking. Let me borrow and speak.
Well, we were going to this time, we're going to item number 6 on the agenda. Item number 6 deals with applications. Members of the press issues, subject matter jurisdiction of the board, agenda items. So the public may also address the board on consent items before the board's consideration of the items. In accordance with board bylaw 9323, will be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise stipulated. The board president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comment depending on the topic, and the number of persons wishing to be heard. No action can be taken on any agenda items at this time. Questions may be referred to the administration or put on a future agenda, and we do have some individuals that will be addressing us at this time. And first, we have Jennifer Smith. Jennifer, come on up.
Good evening, Superintendent, President of the Board, and board members. My name is Jennifer Smith, and I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the dedicated teachers, paraeducators of this district. We are here because the district is offering a 1.5 raise, while we are asking for a 6% raise. A 1.5 increase is not just insufficient, it is a message that the district does not value the people who make our school function. It is especially concerning given the district's own financial history and current projections. Last year, the district fell short of the legally required 60% expenditures on teacher salaries. Instead, only 51% was spent, putting the district out of compliance. And now the district is projected to end the year with a $20 million reserve and currently holds a $27.2 million in unrestricted funds. These are not small numbers. These are dollars that should be supporting the people who support the students every day. By law, by ethics, and by simple common sense, this money is meant for our classrooms, for teachers, paraeducators, support staff, and students we serve, not sitting in savings, not to accumulate while staff struggle to survive in one of the most expensive cities in the country. We live and work in San Jose, where the cost of living continues to skyrocket. Many of us commute long distances because we cannot afford to live near the schools we serve. We have not received a raise in over 2 years, and this year we have not received one either. And every year the demands of our jobs grow while our resources shrink completely. With fewer teachers, fewer paras, fewer social workers, fewer librarians, our workload has become heavier and more overwhelming. Students' needs have increased, but the support system has decreased. I lost my spot. This combination is pushing educators to burnout and pushing talented staff out of our position. And let's be honest, at this point, working in our district is becoming less desirable, not because of the students but the students that we work with, we love, but because of the lack of support and fair compensation. We are not asking for luxuries. We are asking for dignity. We are asking for the ability to remain in this profession we love without sacrificing our well-being or our family stability. A 6% raise is not unreasonable. It is reasonable. It is necessary for retention and recruitment. It is the clearest way for the district to show it truly values the teachers and paraeducators in Franklin-McKinley. We have the resources. We have the legal and moral obligation. I hope you find it in your heart to give us a raise we deserve.
Thank you. Next speaker is Joey Guthrie. Joey Guthrie.
All right. Good evening, board. So I was going to write something down. I said, forget it. I, believe it or not, even though I stand in front of a classroom all day long, I'm a little nervous right now standing in front of a much smaller group of folks. If there were maybe 32 of you or so, I'd feel more comfortable. Here's the thing. You guys claim, I think probably honestly, that you care for the kids in this district. You need to have teachers that are qualified, highly qualified, who care about your kids, and you're losing them. They're going elsewhere. They're not able to afford things. I'm at a point now where with raises in insurance costs and other things like that, I'm looking at my bills and going, maybe I'll hop on LinkedIn. I don't know. We desperately need some help here. There are other districts in the area that are paying much better, that are looking for those highly qualified teachers. You lose those folks, you're not going to get them back. They'll stick around with the school district that pays them well. And I love the kids that I work with, but I don't know, unless you guys are willing to come to the table. 1.5%. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the current cost of living adjustment is, but I don't know. I can't imagine that that's fair. So, and honestly, I was going to finish up by just standing there and letting you guys feel what I know our bargaining teams are feeling at the bargaining table, which is like it's a waste of their time. I was just going to stand here and let about a minute go by. But I think that my colleagues are exhausted. They've been working all day. So I'm willing to relinquish the rest of my time, and hopefully you guys have something to think about.
Thank you. Great. Next speaker is Audrey Montayo. Audrey, I'm up.
Hi, good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Audrey Montejano. Many of you have been in my classroom. I've never been up here before to speak. I've been teaching in the district for 3 decades. I have stayed because I believe in our students and in the work that we do. A couple of years ago, I suffered a basal ganglia hemorrhagic stroke. The neurosurgeon told me to not go back to school. I decided to go back to teach. It's been my passion because helping children is always what I've been meant to do. I grew up in a difficult home with adopted parents, and through it all, I knew I wanted to give support to the kids I need. That is why it's been hard to watch the decisions in this district create problems instead of solving them. This year, I volunteered to teach 6th grade because my amazing boss needed someone. The district did not properly survey the Ramblewood parents, and we ended up with fewer students and more teachers than expected. That forced me to create a combo class after the year started. My students didn't go to RSP, and then it created a combo class, so which left me, because the Ramblewood kids did not come to my classroom, with kids that couldn't be left in a combo class. So I have a crowded class with kids with many behavioral struggles and learning disabilities. These situations require somebody more. Yet I'm expected to manage it all alone. It's hard to believe that students are being put first in classrooms that are set up this way. We also need to speak about the cost of living. Working and living in the Bay Area on our current salaries has become almost impossible. I live in Gilroy because I no longer can afford San Jose. After my mortgage, utilities, insurance for my children, gas, and my future kids' tuition. I don't have to pay for Taylor because she goes to the Air Force Academy. There's almost nothing left in my pocket. At a 1% raise, or 1.5 now, % raise, to not keep up with the real cost of living here. Teachers are stretched thin, working the jobs of many people. Come to my classroom. Some days I look at my own kids, what they earn as referees, and they have less stress than I do. And that says everything about how broken our structure is. We are professionals. We are the backbone of this district. I see many HR, I'm sorry to say it, that are just not doing what they're supposed to do. We, the good teachers, are the backbone. We keep the school running. Our wages should reflect our experience, our dedication, and the reality of living in the Bay Area. I'm asking this board for us, for our family. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Ton.
Sorry, I'm catching a cold right now. Good evening. My name is Tantan. I am a kindergarten teacher at Larone Academy. I am writing you as a concerned FMEA member in regards to the district's recent contract bargaining proposal. Our members deserve and are asking for a meaningful salary increase. The district has responded by initially offering us a 1% increase that has only increased to 1.5% after a few rounds of negotiations. We are disappointed at this proposal, especially in a year of school closures, staff layoffs, and cuts to support staff hours. As everyone is aware, living in the Bay Area continues to get more expensive in recent years, and the last time that we earned a raise was over 2 years ago. Adding to that, personally, I am only learning that this school year, my pay will stay the same for the next decade until I earn my longevity with the district. I have been misinformed by Human Resources last school year and at the beginning of this school year that my longevity bonus will kick in starting this September, only to learn that sadly, my year 14 pay is completely different from my 4 years of service with the district. With that said, my other options are either to wait for the district to give us a raise or to get a master's degree just so I can earn a yearly incentive bonus to survive living here in the Bay Area. While this is something I strive for, it's a challenge to obtain this goal with financial obligations to my immediate family and to my parents. It's also more of a barrier now, knowing about my dilemma of having the same salary for the next decade and juggling to balance the rising cost of living. I want to stay loyal to the district and to continue building my relationship with my new school, the new staff, my new grade level team, and the new students that I've been meeting at school. I hope that the district will reciprocate the same feeling. Teachers, support staff, and paraeducators work hard every day to make sure that our students' academic and their social emotional needs are met. We spend the majority of our days away from our own children to nurture and care for our students. We do this because we want to. It's our choice. We choose this career path year after year because it's still our choice. Our only ask is that we get compensated fairly for our dedication and our hard work. I don't think you'll find any teacher in here that will share with you they're in this profession for the money. If that's the case, we would not be here begging you to consider giving us a raise that we desperately need and deserve. Thank you for your time and allowing my voice and my colleagues' voices to be heard. I hope you take this into consideration as you responsibly decide on the next steps for the teachers, the staff, and the paraeducators. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to the podium is Julie Sanchez. Julie Sanchez.
Good evening. I'm Julie Sanchez, third grade teacher at Stonegate. Let me get straight to the point respectfully. With reserves greater than expected and 2 consecutive years without a raise, a district that would rather keep waiving allocation of spending on their teachers, students is appalling. Students, even after the board voted in September that we shouldn't have this waiver of teacher salaries increases, how we're still here and still our negotiating team is busting their tail trying to get teachers a respectable raise. I'm just at a loss because you hear all the time how important teachers are supposed to be, how teachers deserve, pay like a NFL star or what have you. And then we have to come to these meetings constantly and fight for a better pay. It's a gut punch. And we deserve better than how we're treated. I can speak for all of us, teachers. We're feeling the insurmountable feeling of worthlessness from our leaders. How do you expect us to continue our passion, motivation, and drive to keep pushing and going that extra mile to serve? Sometimes late at night, replying to parents that need answers on their students after their children after, whatever fight or something happened at school and we can't avoid it, we end up working those hours or putting up student work in our classroom, just say 20 minutes later just to get things done. And I feel like we're just working, well, we are working for free, but we do it for our students. But no longer will we have this drive to do the extra little things. This negotiated amount of 1.5% is a slap in the face. Anyway, I wrote this last night, like in 5 minutes in anger, and I'm not holding back at all. I believe we all deserve a respectable raise. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we'll have Lisa Bracamonte. Lisa, come on up.
Hello, Superintendent and board members. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Bracamonte. I've worked for the families of Franklin-McKinley School District since 1997. I love my job because I love my students and I love teaching. The only thing that has ever made my job difficult, I'm sorry to say, is the district and their choices. The choice to collapse classes and displace students and teachers several weeks into the school year. You were there, George. The choice to close schools and not really provide a framework for the change. Just some balloon thing. The choice to not allow media aides to work full-time at Wednesday School, but split their time and energy. Of course, there was a time when the choice to have librarians ended, but we don't talk about that anymore. The choice to not fund simple access to supplies, to get a box of paper, and that's it. That's all you get. Beg for pencils, erasers, and whiteboard markers, and whiteboard erasers. The choice to take away programs that serve our newcomers again and again, again and again. We know, we sit with those children who are learning English, one at a time. We sit with them and help them learn English and know the programs that the district used to provide are being taken away, have been taken away. The choice to not pay teachers a professional wage, and all we're asking for is a living wage because we're not getting a living wage. We are not getting a wage that allows us to live respectfully in Santa Clara County. I love my work because I love my students. I love teaching. And I dare say the data shows I'm quite good at my job that I love. This district has a choice now, a choice they can actually afford. For the work we do and our current salary, which is not really very competitive, a 5% increase is not only minimal, but affordable. The question before everybody is what choice? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kendra Johnson Moore. Kendra.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Cruz. My name is Kendra Johnson Moore, and I'm proud to be an educator at Windmill Springs and a member of FMEA. I stand before you today with 48 pages of FMEA signatures It's telling the district that what they are offering isn't enough. This is over 92% of our union saying the district needs to do more. I'm here tonight because we're tired of being undervalued and underpaid while being asked to do more than ever before. The district's proposal of a 1.5% raise, that's not a raise, it's an insult. We live in one of the most expensive regions in the Bay Area, and yet every year we're told there's no money. But here's the truth. For the past 5 years, the district has underestimated its revenue by an average of 17%. So when they say they can't afford to pay educators fairly, that's not the truth. That's a choice. It's a choice to balance budgets on the backs of the people who teach, guide, and care for Franklin-McKinley students every day. We've given everything through school closures, staff cuts, endless demands, and thousands of dollars out of our own pockets because we believe in our kids. Now it's time for the district to believe in us. We're demanding a fair and meaningful salary increase that reflects our worth and our dedication. Because when educators thrive, students thrive. When staff are respected, schools succeed. And when we stand together, we win. Thank you.
And now, Sir Garcia. Sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Melissa Garcia. I'm a speech language pathologist, and I've been in the district for the last 11 years. I know most of you guys here, and I respect every single one of you guys. So kudos to you guys. I also want to say that the thing that I love most about working in FMSD is our incredibly resilient community. Like many of my fellow educators, the decision to close schools, including Los Arboles, where I worked for the last 10 years, and some of my colleagues are here, so shout out to them as well. Now they're at Lerone. And lay off my colleagues was deeply traumatic and destabilizing. But just like my students have had to find new homes at their new schools, I have found a new home at Chiricahua where I have been embraced by my students, coworker, and administrators. Also shout out to Miss Rochelle Espitia, who is no longer here, but I just wanted to say hello to her. FMSD's management budget priorities have caused layoffs, cuts to support staff, failing to meet the legally required minimum spending in our classrooms for the 3 years in a row, and FMEA members to go a year without a raise. We all know that the cost of living has been increasing. For me, the consequences of that are deeply personal. I'm currently trying to have my first child. As my fiance and I try to plan for this next phase in our lives, FMSD's current wage proposal makes me question if I can continue to work in the community I love while supporting my family. Despite having an unrestricted ending balance of over 20 million after reserves, FMSD management is currently proposing a raise of 1.5. This does not come close to addressing the financial realities of FMSD educators. I'm asking you, our FMSD trustees, to authorize a real raise for FMEA members that will help us retain staff and give our students the stability they deserve. We ask that the board reject district management's request for a waiver of their 5 million deficiency in classroom spending until they reach a fair settlement with FMEA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. And that's the last speaker we had. At this point, we will go to item 7.0. That's the information, discussion, and or action items. And 7.0 deals with the bond survey poll results. And who wants to tackle that one? Jason, would you like to start off? Start us off. Thank you, Jason.
Yep. So recently we partnered with ISM Advisors to do a bond survey result poll, to see whether or not it would be feasible to pass a bond measure next year in June. The survey results came back very positive, and I have Jeff Pickett, Director from ISOM Advisors, who will be presenting the survey results to the board. Again, all the information has been positive. We have continued support from the community and past bonds. And so this may be a good opportunity for us to look at putting a ballot measure for a new bond in June out there for our community to decide yes or no, so that we can provide additional upgrades to current facilities and potentially open a new facility on Communications Hill.
Well, thank you, Mr. Van and Superintendent Cruz and board members for having me this evening. I actually want to ask, I also have a colleague, John Isom of Isom Advisors, who may be online and may want to start us off here. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, I'll keep my remarks brief. So we've been the financial advisor to the school district for over 10 years, and part of our role as a fiduciary is to help the district access funding for major capital improvements. These are new construction, major renovations, upgrades, and modernizations, right? And the primary tool that school districts use in the state of California, and a tool that Franklin-McKinley School District has used to great effect, has been that of local school improvement bond measures. This is a tool that, for context, in last year alone, 2024, nearly 1 out of 3 school districts went to the voters to ask permission to basically get authorization to issue bonds to improve schools. The approach that we've always taken with this district, and the approach that we take with all of our district clients, is to ask the voters and get their thoughts on the idea of bringing forward a bond program. If the voters don't want to do it, then don't bring forward a bond program. If they don't like specific projects, then don't do those specific projects. If they don't like the tax rate, but they'll accept a lower tax rate, then give them the lower tax rate. So this is a key step in the assessment of the feasibility of putting a bond measure back before voters again in 2026. You have 2 options, June and November. Those are the next 2 gubernatorial cycle election dates. If it's not in 2026, it is in 2028, the presidential election cycle. But this, again, is a wonderful tool designed to test attitudes, designed to give you statistical, quantifiable feedback so that the board can make an informed decision as to whether or not you put something before voters, and if you do, what it might look like. So with that, I'll turn the time back over to Jeff Pickett to take you through the results of this survey.
Great. Thank you, John. And I always like to mention, as I go through this presentation, feel free to stop me if you have any questions, or of course, I'll take questions at the end. I'm here to inform you, give you the results of the presentation, and help guide you along this path. So starting here on page 2, this is just the background, the kind of the data behind our poll. There are about 47,000 registered voters in the district, and we conducted a poll reaching out to several hundred of them from mid-October, October 15th through October 19th, to see if they would support a bond. And as we go through the presentation, you'll see the questions we asked them. So we asked folks about the quality of education, specific bond projects, and as John mentioned, tax rates, to see where people stood in their support of a potential bond. We surveyed about 400 households, and that gave us a margin of error of about 4.85%. Okay, so pretty statistically significant poll here. I'll jump right into it. When we start off the poll, and it's about a 10 to 12 minute poll, we start with some basic questions, kind of warm up the respondents. Very broad-based questions, as you see here. First question, speaking, would you say education in California is headed in the right or wrong direction? And you see a majority of people, a majority of the respondents said the right direction, just over 50%. Only about a third in the wrong direction, and some responded don't know. Another general question. What would you, from what you've heard, how would you rate the quality of education provided by the Franklin-McKinley School District? You see good and excellent at about 50%, fair at about 31%, and then either don't know or poor, making up the remainder. Okay, so people are generally supportive of education in the state and education in the school district. Then we get into the facilities, because this will be a bond facility to support improving classrooms, facilities in the district. From what you know or what you've heard, how would you rate the condition of school facilities in the district? 38% said good, another 13% said excellent. So again, just about 50% of people thought you had good facilities in the district. About a third said fair, and the remainder poor or don't know. Again, just some warm-up questions to gauge people's general understanding of the district and the facilities and the education, both locally and in the state. Now we're getting a little bit more specific. We gauge people's response to how do they feel about the school board, the teachers, principals, and superintendent. I always like to point out that often the school board is the lowest on this list. Don't be offended. The teachers are the ones that are out there that are in front of the students. We have several teachers here tonight. Those are the ones that people, and especially the people responding to these polls, those are the people that they know. Teachers always score very high on here. And you see the results here. Teachers and principals score among the highest, where they have an excellent or good reputation, then the superintendent, and then the school board. A little bit more detail, getting a little bit more into people's opinion of Franklin-McKinley School District. Just a few more general questions, and then we start getting into specifics. In general, do good schools help improve property values? You see 90% of the people said yes. People understand that schools bring people here, people want to move here, and it helps their property values. And then here's one. I would never vote for a tax increase no matter what it would be used for. About 47% of the people agreed. About 50% disagreed. And then 4% don't know. And one thing I didn't mention right at the beginning, I'd like to point out that when we're polling people, we're not just polling people that have close ties to the district. And actually, we'll see this in the next couple slides. We're polling people that are likely voters. So it could be people that are not connected to the district at all. So that's why you see some of these answers that don't know. They don't know about the facilities. They don't know about the teachers. Next question, next page. Because the state continues to underfund classrooms and facility improvements, local voters need to do more to protect the quality of facilities in their local public schools. Again, the vast majority, nearly 90%, agree with that statement, and about 11% disagree, or 11% disagree here. And this is what I was alluding to earlier. Do you have any children? Do you have a connection to the district? Do you have any children or grandchildren who are attending or have attended schools in the Franklin-McKinley School District? And you see about 2/3 of the respondents of our poll say no or never. So they don't have that direct connection, but they are still voters in the district. So you still need their support to pass a bond. And then you see the 21% yes currently, and in the past, another 15% have some connection to the school district. Again, we bring this up because voters may or may not, the voters that are trying to support or you want to support this bond may or may not have a connection, and you need to communicate with all of them. Any questions before we move forward?
Questions, board members? Anybody have a question so far? Okay, we'll keep on going, Jeff.
Okay,
Thank
hopefully
you.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I would like to point out, actually, I looked back, and the last time we did a survey here in 2019, these are very similar results to what we saw in 2019. And if you recall, 2019 was pre-pandemic, so a whole different world. But again, back in 2019, a lot of support for the district. And we'll see that throughout, and I'll just let you know in advance, throughout all these responses, looking back to 2019, very similar. Okay, then we start getting really into the details or the nitty-gritty of the poll. This is getting into the specifics, getting into the details of what Franklin-McKinley School District could ask voters in 2026. And we start off right away with the ballot question that voters would see. The reason we do this is because a lot of voters are going to go to the ballot. They're going to open up their voter pamphlet, their ballot, and they're going to vote without knowing much about the bond or any of the other, measures that might be on the ballot for that matter. They may not have seen any material or any communications from the district. They may not know about the tax at all, but they will see this 75-word statement and they'll have to make a decision on it. Okay, so this is the first really detailed, specific question we ask in the poll. At this time, Franklin-McKinley is looking to make classroom and school facility improvements and is considering placing a school improvement bond on the bond measure in your community. Let me read you the proposed measure. So we read this 75-word statement. Again, that's going to be on the ballot. And I'll say the first half of it, the way these ballot questions are designed, the first half of it is specific to Franklin-McKinley School District. Well, it's all specific to Franklin-McKinley School District, but it's some of the projects that you're going to work on: school improvements, safety, security, replace leaky roofs, as you see here. The second half is legally required language that talks about the cost of the bond measure. So we talk about the total amount, $142 million, $8 million annually raised by the tax rate. And then the tax rate, 3 cents per $100 of assessed value, which is the same as $30 per 100,000 of assessed value. You may have seen tax rates in that manner, $30 per 100,000 or 3 cents per $100 of assessed value. Okay, and then it finishes off. We read that directly to the poll respondents and we ask them, would you support this measure? You see 74%, just over 74% said yes, they would support the measure. About 2.5% leaned yes, 17%, about 17.5% no or lean no, and then a few percent undecided. So you see tremendous support for a bond measure without any knowledge, straight out of the box. Just keep in mind, for a Prop 39 bond measure to pass, you need 55%. So you're well above that 55% threshold. Okay. And again, back in 2019, you had similar results. Again, we start getting a little more detailed. Here we start asking about specific projects. What would people support or not support for that matter? We have the vertical line there, 55% threshold. And we're kind of looking at the red and yellow bars, the red and yellow colors. That means they're likely to support a bond measure or somewhat likely to support a bond measure if it included these projects. Okay. And this is not necessarily the order that we ask the questions. Just to let you know, this is kind of the order in support from greatest support to least as we go through the next couple of pages. But again, you'll see throughout each of these projects, a very high level support. And again, I'll reference 2019, similar results, similar support levels. There's a little bit of movement in specific projects, but we talked about the same projects back then as well. Repairing or replacing leaky roofs. We ask people that a lot. We do that a lot, or we ask that question a lot in our polls, and it always scores well because it's a safety issue. It's a basic necessity issue. Safe and secure classroom. Again, and you see next one, improve student safety, scoring very high. Health and safety improvements, handicap accessibility improvements. Technology, again, all above, well above the 55% threshold, above the 80% threshold if you include the much more likely and somewhat more likely. more projects. I won't go through each of them, but you can see here, modernizing classrooms. I'll point out where you see SSB in front. It's the second from the bottom, construct new classrooms to replace outdated portable classrooms. When we do these polls, sometimes we phrase the questions differently. And it'll make a little more sense when I go to the next page. But we have some poll respondents a question in a certain manner, phrase the question in one way, and another section or another half of the poll respondents phrase the question slightly differently to see if there's a change in their attitude, because that will help guide the projects you're choosing and the way you're communicating with the community. We see here on the back side on this last page the other split samples. So right here, I just want to point out, construct new classrooms to replace outdated portable classrooms. That was split sample B. You see right in the middle, split sample A, replace outdated temporary portable classrooms. So talking about portable classrooms, slightly different ways. And you see how we did that also, constructing additional classrooms, or we asked some of the respondents, building a new school on Communications Hill. But again, I want to point out very high support for each of those projects, all of those projects. Well above 55%. Any questions here on the methodology at this point, or any of the projects?
Questions, board members? Oh, yeah, board member Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think, okay, yeah, I have a quick question. Now, I think now would be a good time to ask this. On the methodology, 405 respondents versus over 47,000 registered voters in the district
Yes.
is that's a less than 1% sample size. Is that an accurate measurement for determining the success of a bond measure?
The short answer is yes. And I am going to think back to my statistics in high school and college. And it's been a long, long time, and I'm no expert, and I'm not a statistician right now. But the way statistics works, you just need to get a good sample of the expected voters in the district. You don't need a lot of them. In this case, 400 gave us a good sample to say within a margin of error, plus or minus about 5%, a little under 5%, that these results are accurate of the wider 47,000 voter population.
Okay.
So the small sample, statistically significant still.
You just reminded me of my college market research. I have a marketing degree, and I went through that class, and that was one of the hardest classes I had. So thank you.
It's been a while for me too, but that's the answer. Yeah.
Well, I guarantee I'm older than you, so thank you.
And Jeff, if I could just add one other comment. If any of you ever look at the USA Today, and they'll always have a survey question in USA Today. And I was always like baffled by this, years and years and years ago. And it would be a sample of 1,000 people. That's it. But if it's a random sample of 1,000 people, that is representative enough of the United States of America. So 400 for 40,000 certainly is much more reliable than 1,000 for the entire United States. But that's actually a very acceptable sample size for the US. And so we feel really good about our 400 plus for you guys.
Thank you for the presentation. I appreciated all the work that went into gathering this information. As we think about a potential bond measure, I also want to make sure we're looking at the data through an equity lens as we do our due diligence as a governing board. But I'd like to ask around demographic breakdown of the respondents. Specifically, how do we know the sample reflects our community by language, race, and ethnicity? I think it's important to make sure that we have the voice of our community when we're going through these.
I'm going to give the simple answer and leave it to John to respond more because he got more into the details of the building of the poll. But the quick answer is we look at the voter database in your district and we build our calling of those voters to get our sample size, to get the 400 that match the demographics of the area, but also match the likely voters, the people who are voting. So covering that, and that kind of leads to why we can, with a small sample size, get a good idea of where your voters will be election time. So yes, we are getting the same demographics, attempting to get the same demographics as you have voters in the district. Don, you want to add?
I think the key operative word that Jeff said, guys, is voters, and very specifically likely voters. So that's who's going to decide whether or not a successful bond program goes through or not, just as they have on every other election that we've ever taken to them. So the demographics of the likely voter pool is what's going to be reflected in that 400 random sample. So it may not look exactly like your school community. It may not look like even your voting community, because if you've never voted and you've been registered to vote, we are stripping you out of this group. We have to focus on gubernatorial likely voters. And when done correctly, in this case by random sampling, computer generated, those demographics are going to reflect the voting population. And I think if you were to go back in time and you were to look at prior surveys and prior results, you would see this, 70%, 72, 74, 73 in the survey. And then you would see that reflected in the vote with 72, 73, 74% at the polls on election day. So it's not going to be exactly how your community looks, but it's going to be exactly how your likely voting community looks.
Just for my own information, was the survey done in multiple languages to address all of our potential voters?
Typically, yes, and I think that's the case here. I would have to just double check with the call center to confirm that.
And an additional, because we are doing this during a gubernatorial year, we know that the voter turnouts are much lower than during a presidential year, which is taken into consideration during the methodology of your survey.
Correct. Yeah. So our sample, our sample from, we start with the 47,000. You strip out all people that have never voted. Then you strip out what we call low propensity voters, people that have only voted once. Basically, I only show up for president. Frankly, that opinion is of less value to us than everybody else. And then there's just the logistics of, oh, you don't have a phone number or you don't answer the phone. But that's why having the target of a 400 random sample number is good, because it's easy to achieve when you're talking about a starting point of 40,000, even after stripping out those other variables.
Thank you. And I'm asking this not out of doubt, but out of responsibility. I want to make sure our families who care about our safe and modern schools, I want to make sure that they understand and are part of this conversation.
Absolutely. And love the question. That's even the one question that we don't know. Okay. We know all about the ethnicity and age and gender and homeowners and renters and geography. We know all of that. Political party, of course. What we don't know is the connection to the school. And that's why, as Mr. Pickett pointed out earlier, we asked the question, do you have any ties to the school? And you saw the majority of the folks don't. That's a good data point, because the majority of your likely November or June 2026 gubernatorial voters don't have a tie to the school. We would be nervous if you had 50% of the folks said, yeah, I have kids in school. Well, of course, you're going to probably be more favorable to a school bond measure than people that may not have ties to the school. So that's why we asked that additional, let's call it a security demographic statistical question about, do you have a connection to the school? So, but great question. Very good point.
Any other questions before we move on? Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
I heard it mentioned that you have you take this sampling from people who have voted or will vote, likely voters. You look at political affiliations with that, because I know that information is available as well. But you can draw your pool of police, if you will.
Yeah, we have the political breakdown as well. That's all in there.
Anything else, board members? No, go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so these last few pages, we've talked about specific projects. We haven't mentioned cost yet, except in that first ballot question right at the beginning. But now we're going to ask people's tax tolerances. Now we're putting dollar figures to what we're asking people to support. You see here, we look at, again, if you recall, we asked the 3 cents per hundred of assessed value in that ballot question. That was the cost of it per year. That was the tax rate. That is the same, that is equivalent to $30 here, where you see $30, that's per 100,000 of assessed value. So I would just want to make that connection for context. We're asking people at these various different tax rates, would you vote yes or no to the ballot measure? And you see at a $30 tax rate, and I do want to point out the $30 tax rate is the highest that an elementary school district can do with a Prop 39 election. So that's the maximum tax rate you can ask voters at an election for next year. Okay, so at a $30 tax rate, you have over 2/3 of the respondents say, yes, we would support it. Okay, at a $24 tax rate, so slightly lower, you again have about 2/3. So not a big drop off. At a $19 tax rate, you have 71% of the voters would support it. So you see an increase there. And this makes sense. Actually, you don't see much of a drop off between the 30 and the 24, but you do see that drop off as the tax rate, or not drop off, the increase in support. Sorry, I misspoke. The increase in support as the tax rate goes down, which makes sense. It's a little bit cheaper. People say, okay, I can't afford $30 per year, a $30 tax rate per year, but 19 is a little bit more reasonable. I do want to also mention that these are tax rates per 100,000 of assessed value. It's not the market value. We know it's an expensive area to live, this county, this area, this specific area, but we're looking at assessed values. That doesn't always translate in the polls. People don't always understand that, but I do like to point that out when we're looking at these tax rates. But you see across the board, very strong support, well above the 55% voter threshold for a Prop 39 election. Okay, you do see an increase when you drop below $20, but again, very strong support. Before we move on, I just want to also point out, I mentioned it a few times, very similar results back in 2019. We asked this question. I mentioned earlier, we sometimes split up the questions and phrase them a little bit differently. Half the respondents get the question phrased one way, half get it phrased the other way. We did that with the tax rates as well. $30, 24, 19. Half the respondents got the question phrased that way. The amount per 100,000 of assessed value. Half the respondents got it broken down, kind of a monthly basis. Would you pay $2.50 a month per 100,000 of assessed value to support the tax? $2 or $1.50? Sometimes it's a little more manageable in someone's mind to understand the cost of something if they look at it by month, and then they realize $2.50 a month doesn't sound like a lot. It still is equivalent to that $30 per year of assessed value. But again, we break it down, see if there's any changes, any differences in how people respond. You do see a slight increase, a decent amount of increase in each of the support levels. But again, very strong support across the board. What I would say here is, even though you see an increase as you go down in cost, people aren't that tax rate sensitive. In this case, 71% to 76%, only a 5% difference. Okay, now we go back to that question we asked in the beginning. The reason we asked this, we asked the same question again right at the end of the poll. The reason we ask it at the end of the poll too is because after you have learned all there is to know about the potential bond measure, the projects that'll improve at the district, the safety and security measures, all the different things we looked at building and improving. After you heard about the costs, how much are you going to have to pay every year? Are you still supportive of this tax measure? As you see here, and it's in the colored circle here, this is the post survey question results. So after they've learned all this information about the potential bond measure, are you still supportive? And you see here the support level. Yes, I'm still supportive, 78%. In the grayed out pie chart there, the original question, when it was asked right at the beginning of the survey, the support level is 74%. So an improvement in the results. People are more supportive after hearing everything. They're hearing all the great things that it's going to improve in the district. They're also hearing the costs. But they're still supportive. And again, I'll mention it again and again and again, well above 55%. Before we move on, John, do you want to add anything as we kind of get into those last few pages?
Nope, nothing to add here. I will say one thing, sorry. When you're comparing and contrasting the pre-election versus this post-election ballot measure benchmark, what this tells you, in addition to the most important question, which is, are voters willing and wanting to support school improvements through a bond measure? The answer is yes. But what this also tells us is, does additional education help, hinder, or really make no difference? Sometimes the more information you put out there, the more you talk about taxes, the more you talk about projects, the support goes down. Other times it goes up. Here, I think statistically you could say there's a slight increase for educating voters, but there's not a big amount of information that's needed to get people to go. What you really have fundamentally is just a core group of voters that just ideologically like the district and are willing to support education. And that's a great position to be in, and that they're willing to support you. Obviously, keep up the good work and what you've done and being good stewards with prior bonds, et cetera, because it's working. So just some additional context of what kind of education might need to be included on a go forward basis. And the answer is not a lot. Thank you.
A final closing thoughts here. We've mentioned a bunch of this throughout the presentation, but majority of the voters believe the district provides excellent or good education. We saw that. People were very supportive of a potential bond measure, and after education, a little bit more supportive. All the projects were well received. The tax rates were also well received, meaning they had well over that 55% voter support. The final concluding remark, everything looks good for a potential bond measure in 2026. We recommend the district continue to reach out and educate the community. And again, remember that community is not only the people that are attending the schools or connected to the schools, but it's those that may not have any connection at all to the schools, but they are still voters in the district. And you want to reach out to those groups as well. Any final questions?
Board members, questions, comments, concerns? Board member Rodriguez.
We have a history of getting a lot of support for our bond measures that we've introduced since I've been on the board since 2010. And it kind of baffles me that some of our neighboring districts struggle to pass bond measures, and we seem to be better at it in terms of success rate. Do you know why?
I'm going to punt that one to John because he's done a lot more in this specific area than I have.
Well, as I said, whatever you're doing, people like you. When you looked at those earlier questions about the district, quality of education, how would you rate the different groups? What Mr. Pickett didn't point out and didn't really need to point out, but if you were to go back to those slides, if you looked at the poor, there's very little poor. There's very little people that think the schools are poor, the education is poor, the school board is poor, the superintendent is poor. So people like you. You've obviously done a good job with prior bond programs. If there's we screwed up, we misspent the money, people are upset and you don't get that support like you've seen in the last 15 plus years. Your demographics are such that you do have, predominantly a Democratic, registered voters. You have a slightly younger voting population. And I think kind of the ethnic mix that you have in your voters is fairly unique, even to your area. And I think there's a large segment of the population that is overly supportive of education, I would say, that places a premium or a priority on education. So I think it's a combination of all of those factors. But you really are, even in your neighborhood, as you know, you are a bit of an outlier. But I would just say, hey, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because you've earned the trust of your voters. And it looks, based on the survey, that they're willing to trust you one more time.
Okay, and I do have one more question or comment, maybe you want to comment on, is that, so our school district is essentially the lowest income school district in the county of Santa Clara. And so we have proportionally, we have more renters than homeowners. And so many of our voters might reflect that as well, being renters and voting on this bond measure. Would that impact the outcome as well?
That could play into it as well. And I'll tell you, just candidly, 2024, we worked with 89 successful bond programs. So almost 40% of the whole state we worked with. And so we're working all over the state. Those communities that have lower socioeconomics, like you cited, I think tend to be even more supportive than what some people would say are the communities that could, quote unquote, afford it, right? I think what we've all seen is that all communities can support these bond programs. It's not affordability at a $30 per 100,000 of assessed value tax rate. Ends up being a very, 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 very small component of what people pay in taxes. To your point, though, with a lot of renters, maybe that is something that they're not. I'll be honest, I don't think they sit there and calculate and say, well, maybe my rents go up, or maybe this is going to get passed on indirectly, or how is this going to affect me? I think a lot of folks say, hey, I know the ticket for a better education for my kids, my grandkids, the children that I'm a guardian for, is through education. And I can't tell you how many successful bond programs we've passed in communities of far lower socioeconomic status than yours in the Central Valley, on the 101 in Monterey County and Bakersfield, in those areas that you would say, hey, that's kind of high poverty levels. But those are some of the most supportive of education community members. And I think they see these as opportunities to better the opportunities for their kids or grandkids going on into the future. So I really think it's a combination of all of those things. But some of the more wealthy communities tend to be harder to pass these bonds because, for one reason or another, maybe they think, I don't need good schools. I've got this on my own. Where other communities say, hey, this is a ticket to a better life for my kids.
Any other questions, board members? No, I think that's about it, but thank you very much. Really appreciate both of you remarks you presented to us, Jeff and John.
And thank you, and a special thanks to Jason and district staff and being able to work with us. Sometimes we're pretty quick about, let's get this thing turned around. We have June 26th as the earliest date, and sometimes we run these guys through the ringer and getting information and reviewing things. So I do want to say a special thanks to staff that worked with us on this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for having us.
Well, thank you, and I guess we will continue the conversation later on in terms of a final decision, whether to go with the voters
Yes.
in the primary.
On the agenda item, you'll see a timeline of when we would have to bring things to the board for it to be on the June ballot.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night. Okay, with that, we will move on to item 7.02, the disclosure of collective bargaining agreement. Jason.
Yes, so based on AB 1200 and AB 2756, the district must disclose the financial impact of a tentative bargaining agreement. So tonight, we are bringing forth that disclosure for the tentative agreement relating to CSEA. It includes the impact of an ongoing increase of 2.24% starting in the 26-27 school year and a one-time payment of 2.34% in this fiscal year of 25-26. The estimated impact for 25-26 is $544,000. For 26-27, it'll be 526,933, and then in fiscal year 27-28 is 534,000. Once this information has been reviewed by the board, we are recommending that we approve the disclosure that is presented tonight and attached to the board agenda. And then we would provide that information to the County Office of Education for their review and feedback.
Thank you, Jason. Questions, board members, regarding Jason's presentation? Nope. Well, thank you very much, Jason. It's an action item, so we need a motion, a second on this item on 7.02.
I move to approve the disclosure of collective bargaining with CSEA.
Second. We have a motion, a second, item 7.02. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you. Now we go on to item 7.03, the application for exemption from the required expenditure for classroom salaries. Again, we go to Jason for this, right?
Yes.
Jason.
Yep. So we're bringing this item back to the board for another opportunity to move this forward so that we can provide the waiver to the County Office of Education. I don't want to go over everything again, but I do want to point out some of the things that we've added to this board agenda item that were not disclosed in the previous board meeting. For example, we included a timeline in relation to the waiver process in the board agenda. Obviously, there is a timeline as its impact to the audited financial statements. If not approved at this point in time, it would be considered an audit finding if the waiver has not been passed by the board. We still do have an opportunity as a district to pass a waiver by 9/15/2026. So I wanted to put that out there, as well as an additional document that we put together to show what the district has provided to staff in terms of compensation and how the current Form CEA calculation is outdated and needs to be adjusted. So right now on the board is the schedule that I was referring to. We start at the top with the information in the Form CA, how they calculate the percentage of salaries and benefits in relation to current expenditures for the school district. As you can see, 66 million divided by 119 gives you 55.42%. For a district of our size, we would need to have 60% as the threshold to pass Form CEA. What the form does not adjust for are listed here. It does not make adjustments for services that we contract out due to vacancies with teacher positions or inability to hire teacher positions. For example, Prop 28, art and music. This is a funding source that is geared to hiring and retaining teachers to increase the amount of art and music offered to students within a school district. At this point in time, in 24-25, we had to contract out because we were unsuccessful in being able to hire staff to provide this service. If we had hired staff, that would be part of our total salaries and benefits calculation for the Form CEA. The Form CEA does not adjust for contracted work. The list continues on with Swing, which is a third party that we utilize to hire subs, both for classified and certificated positions. If we did not have to hire subs due to vacancies, the 586,902 shown here would have been part of the total salaries and benefits provided to staff at FMSD. So the list continues to go on, talks about effective school solutions that provides behavioral support. We hire contracted nurses, provide benefits for our students. We use specific clinics to hire social workers for positions that are left vacant. And again, we use Emergis for behavioral technicians and as well as counselors for positions that are vacant. What I've also added here are the positions that are excluded from the calculation due to the format being fairly old in terms of Form CA. It only looks at certain object codes when calculating salaries and benefits. And because of that, it excludes positions such as social workers, psychologists, and teachers who are paid with lottery funds in their calculation. Altogether, if we would add all of these expenditures paid to contractors, plus salaries paid to other teacher positions, the total expenditure salaries would be increased by 6.4 million, leading to an adjusted total salaries and benefits of 72.5 million. Looking at the expenditure side, the 119 million, there are two adjustments that we've shown here. One, with ELOP, Expanded Learning Opportunities Program funding source, we are extending the instructional day and year for our students. Right now, we're contracting that work out to members of Catholic Charities for our choral program and our summer programs. That cost, because it's contracted, is not included, it should not be included in this calculation. So we're looking at an $8.5 million reduction in the expenditures. We also provide services through Little Heroes, and we use ELOP funds to pay for that service. We had teachers being paid for it. If we had teacher positions being paid with these dollars, we would add that to the salaries and benefits calculation. But since we're using contracted services for these programs, we are showing it as a deduct of reduction in the current expenditures for education. Take these two items, it's an $8.8 million reduction in current expenditures. Should give you 110.3 million in total expenditures adjusted. These two adjusted amounts in the Form TA calculation, 72.5 million divided by 110.3 million, you got a ratio of 65.69%, above the 60% threshold, which you would need to have for a district that is an elementary school district.
Thank you.
With that being said, I'll open up to any questions you might have.
Yeah, questions, board members? Yeah, Rodriguez, go ahead.
Is this the exact same exemption that the board voted down previously?
The difference is that we have.
Wait a minute. I'm not asking for the difference.
Oh, okay, got it.
Is this the exact same exemption that the board voted down in a previous board meeting?
Correct.
Okay, I know there's a difference because you're presenting different information. I got that. Okay. And this is based on following ed code, right?
Correct.
I still cannot support this. And how many more times are we going to be, because you have additional information, how many more times are you going to introduce this when the board already, I believe it was unanimous, to reject this exemption? So, I mean, I'm not asking for you to comment on that. I'm just stating that so that the entire board could hear this. All right, thanks. That's all.
So for clarification, this was brought forward at the request of another board member in consultation with the president.
Other questions? Go ahead, board member Sanchez.
Hey, Jason, so what's the ramification if this doesn't get approved? What ends up happening as a result of that?
So we tried to summarize that too within the agenda item for tonight, but ultimately, whatever the calculated deficiency is, right now it's about $5 million. That would be held by the County Office of Education to a certain period of time, and then eventually they would pay that money out to teachers at Franklin-McKinley School District.
Other questions? Comments? Jason, so this eventually will be, therefore would eventually like step in and make the adjustment. Make it for us. At
That
the
is
county
correct.
level.
That is correct.
Okay. That's the question before. The question before us at this point. Either we make it here or the county will make it for it.
And I would like to present a motion then. We can't do public. Or do we do? Okay, yeah.
We have a couple of individuals here.
Yeah, then
Public
public comment before we make a motion then. Okay.
Go ahead and hear them. Celeste, Dozell, come on up.
Celeste Dolezal, special ed teacher at Dahl, third year here with FMSD. Shout out to my awesome students and my amazing Dahl coworkers who are always there to throw in support when it feels like that support is not forthcoming from other quarters. So addressing this specific article, you've heard of yes and thinking. Well, I'm here to ask you to do some no and thinking and say no to the waiver request and yes to authorizing a meaningful salary increase for FME educators this year. And by meaningful, I mean close to the cost of living increases recently. We didn't get a raise last year, but the cost of living rose about 3%. And they want a waiver to keep paying us less than they're legally meant to. This year, the cost of living so far has risen, I don't know, about 3.3%. And they want a waiver to keep paying us less than they're legally supposed to. A person household here in Santa Clara County, we're low income if we make 127.6K or less. Ooh, it's me. I'm one of those. An FMSD teacher makes an average of about 112,000 a year. But sadly, what you need to afford an average one-bedroom apartment here is an $113,000 a year salary. So I mean, please help me make that make sense. For them to keep asking permission to keep paying us less than they're supposed to, especially when they're acknowledging vacancies they have to fill by using contract agencies. Perhaps the figures I'm citing are related to why there are vacancies. I don't know, outside my area. So what I think is weird too about this waiver situation is that we know the district ended the year with, $27 million unrestricted, which is about 21 million more than they'd have, which is super cool. But the weird thing is the money they saved over the past 3 years by not paying us that 5% we should legally be getting is about $21.8 million. So a little bit, it feels like that savings has been made off of our backs while our own households and bank accounts suffer. And it's just the accounting being off so consistently, no disrespect to anybody, but if somebody's accounting's off by 406% estimation, I really can't take that seriously when it's being used to tell me why I need to tighten my own belt. And I don't have the time allowed here to share my own personal household budget, but it's real too. All of their budgets are real and would probably look just as dire if we could present you our multi-year projections for our households on a spreadsheet, but we cannot. So I'm saying, please say no to the waiver and yes to authorizing a meaningful raise for FMEA educators. Thank you.
Next we have Edgar. Come on up, Edgar.
Hi, everyone. I'm no stranger to being up here more than one time for multiple occasions. So greetings to the FMSD School Board. I am here to speak on item 7.03, the waiver that says the district doesn't want to spend its mandated requirement of 60% on staff. As FMEA, we have been sent through the rigors the last 3 years with no raises, threats of school closures, and massive layoffs of our staff. To try to save the district money, however, the current unrestricted balance stands at $27 million. As FMEA, we're fighting for better conditions, a livable wage, and under the district's 1.5 pay increase, which is not enough to balance the current cost of living. However, with the district rise, oh my God, fell off my spot. Good job, Edgar. However, with the district's raise proposal, they showed that they also can't afford that, but somehow they can make it work, or at least that's what was mentioned at the bargaining table last week. So if they can make that one work, I'm sure they can make something work more reasonable for us as FMEA, because honest to God, the only reason why I'm here is because I love the community that I serve. The money is, I could easily take my skills and my talent somewhere else and get a lot more for the credential that I have, my master's degree, and my administrative credential that I have, that I also hold. But I'd rather not. I love working with these individuals. I love working in this community. I love serving the people that I serve, but at what cost? Because part of the thing that you're also taking from us is free labor. By telling us we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this, we have to do that, without any compensation that's justifiable and livable in our communities. I mean, we're all experiencing this left and right. And with new houses being built and new income coming in from those directions, why can't we have that 60% so that way everyone here can have a justifiable livable wage? My husband and I want to buy a house, but the way that we look at our finances, it's going to be almost impossible to get to that point, even to buy a condo. I love it here. I want to stay here, but sometimes it gets really difficult to stay here. And sometimes I question why I'm here. I question if I can even survive and continue to be here, even though I want to, because every single day, especially now that I'm in conferences, I am absolutely reminded why I love what I do, I'm reminded of why I love what I do. At my school at Dahl, we have every Thursday is Thankful Thursday, and every single Thursday the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've been getting messages from my former students about how deep of an impact I have made in their lives. Every single one, when I read it, I get teary-eyed and start to cry, because I know that my profession, my impact is more than just monetary. It goes beyond that. But I also need to pay my bills. I also need to make ends meet. I also need to make sure that my 2 little gatitas and my 3rd gatito, who is an old man, gets the service that they also need, because that is my family, and I'm here for my family and my families that I serve.
That's the last individual we had speaking on this particular item, 7.0. Any other yeah, Board Rodriguez, go ahead.
Well, actually, I just want to make a motion, but if somebody has other comments, I'll wait.
Let's read off, any comments over here on the left-hand side here?
I just want to thank Jason for breaking this down a little bit more easily for people to analyze. Again, we're kind of using an outdated formula with this. Again, with all those expenditures to third parties for all those services that they provide with their salaries, that's not being taken into account with this formula that we're currently using. Right. So instead of that 60%, we're at 55%. But technically, if you get all these third parties, the salaries we're paying out to them, right, Jason? It's 65% about that we're paying with salaries.
So yeah, so once you adjust for all the contracted services, yes, we will be at 65%. We'll be above the 60% threshold.
And then one thing that I just wanted to confirm, so you put the average salaries for the districts, comparable districts in San Jose as well, correct? So FMSD has a higher teacher salary average than Alum Rock, Oak Grove, and Luther Burbank. Is that true?
That is the information that is presented tonight, and that is true.
Okay. And then I've heard that, was there a raise in 23-24?
Yes, it was a raise in 23-24 for FMSD.
Because I've heard a few times tonight that there has been no raise in the last 2 years. Is that incorrect?
That would be incorrect.
All right, thank you.
Jason, in terms of the county looking at us at the expenditures in this particular item here, how soon would do that and go ahead and let's say we voted against this, how soon would the county come back at us and say, oh no, you guys are will override you guys? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. So in the timeline presented tonight for this particular board agenda item, it does provide the timeline in which the county would take action. Pulling it up here. Hold on a second.
April 15th.
Thank you.
is when the county would pull the amount out of our budget and hold it.
So even if you vote against this, the county will go ahead and impose their own will, I guess you could say, April 15th. Lieutenant?
Yes.
Okay, Jason, yeah. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. In terms of approving it and then jumping in, disapproving it. Let's go ahead.
No, let me just clarify that. If the board approves this, then the county does not step in
that's
and do anything. If the board does not approve this, then by April 15th, 2026, and there's no waiver on file, and there's that finding, then the county would pull that amount out of our budget and hold it until the district either resolves it or they step in and distribute the funds.
So in other words, the money's practically frozen until unless the county give us permission. Is that what we're looking at? So if we were to vote against this, the county would hold the money. They're not going to give it back to us at this point. That's we can find ourselves in it. Yeah, but no, Rodriguez, go ahead.
Comment, are you?
No motion yet.
I would like to make a motion.
Hold on, we have a
I
comment, yes.
just have a question about timeline. When is the final day that we have to submit this?
The latest date for us to submit this waiver would be September 15th, 2026.
For the 2024-2020 school year?
Correct.
That we were supposed to initially, we voted down prior was also 20.
Correct.
As we continue working towards ensuring that our educators in our district are earning a livable wage, and that we have some additional time in our timeline, I wonder if the board would be willing to push this to our December meeting while we work towards ensuring that our educators are earning a livable wage.
So just to clarify that, so we are going through the audit process now. So if there's no waiver on file, that will trigger the audit finding that we would submit to the county by the 15th of December. That's what triggers the county stepping in, and then by April 15th, if at that point there's still no file on no waiver on file, then they will withhold those funds. So there are triggers that initiate actions by the county by not having a waiver on file.
Our next board meeting is December 9th.
Correct. And we have time. We have time, and that was going to be my motion, was to see if we could table this until the next board meeting, because there could be some new developments regarding teacher salaries. So that was my motion, and I would like to move that we table this till the December 9th meeting.
Okay.
Is it possible to pass the waiver and we could still work on negotiations at the same time to?
Excuse me, I have a motion on the floor, and if there's no second, there's a motion.
A second, because there's a motion, a second at this.
Okay, now you
this
can
time.
make a comment, Stephen.
Comments, go ahead. Member Sanchez. Well, we have a motion on the floor. I just wanted to say that board member Hong Hai, like her remarks she made in terms of moving it, giving us a bit more time. Is that even a possibility?
I mean, you're the decision makers. I just will say that we are at the table. We do have a salary already on the table, and we will continue to work with the association to reach a settlement.
Correct.
So that's not going to change.
Right.
So there's nothing that's going to change between now and December in terms of what information is presented and what the, excuse me, I'm speaking right now, okay? There's nothing that will change in terms of the numbers that are of 24-25.
Right.
We're speaking about 24-25 numbers that are already spent and accounted for.
Mhm.
So there's nothing that will change in the information that we presented between now and December.
Okay, I would like to, one
Yeah, go
comment
ahead.
regarding the motion. We don't need permission from our superintendent or anybody from the county on this. This is a board decision. And I think that if we do have time to wait. And I thought when we voted it down last time unanimously that the decision was made. I had no idea until I read the agenda that it would be brought up again. I would like to have more time to prepare for this because right now I'm opposed to it, but I'm willing to delay one more month so I can look at it further and see if there's some compromise that we can make on this.
Okay, so that's your motion right now?
I already made it. It was already seconded. So, my motion was to table it until the December 9th meeting.
Okay, in a second, yeah. So we have a motion and a second on the floor at this point to table it until the next meeting in December. Right. All right, so that's the motion that we have before. So at this point, no more discussion. We'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Opposed? Opposed? Nay. We're hung. Aye, oh, I'll say aye on it. 401. 410. Okay, let's go forward to consent item under $25,000. So we have several consent items. Oh, wow, whole bunch of them. 8.01 through 8.11. Board members, do you have any that you want to pull? If not, we'll call for the question on this, on item 8. So I'll need a motion, a second, item number 8.
I move to approve consent items 8.01 and 8.02, or 8.01 through 8.11. I'm still getting used to the new format that we have here.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to approve, and a second, that is to approve items 8.01 through 8.011. All in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 The motion passes. Okay, let's go on to number 9. Number 9 is consent items over $25,000. 9.01 through 9.03. So take a look at those. Let me know if you want to pull any of these.
Move to approve consent items 9.01 through 9.03.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve consent items 9.01 to 9.03. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, let's move forward to number 10, construction items. We have one construction item. And take a look at it. And if you want to pull it, let me know. If not, I'll need a motion to move forward.
Move to approve construction item 10.01. Second.
Okay, so I have a motion, a second item 10.01. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, that motion passes. Okay, so now we jump on to action items. 11.01, our personnel report. Board Member Sanchez.
I move that we approve the personnel report 0.01.
And I'd like to jump in. Today, we do not have a personnel report, so I am recommending that the board approve. I'm sorry, we do not have a personnel addendum.
Okay.
I'm recommending that the board approve the personnel report only.
Okay, so we need a motion, a second on this, 11.01.
But that was the motion, wasn't it, Stephen?
Oh, yeah, Stephen made a motion.
Yeah, and I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So 11.01 passes. 11.02 are open session minutes. You take a look at those, October 28th. Take a look at those and I'll need a motion, a second.
Move to approve the October 28th open session minutes.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion, a second, item 11.01. I'm sorry, correction. 11.02. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 11.03. A tentative reopener agreement between California School Association, CSEA, and the Franklin-McKinley School District. And who wants to just address that?
I'll take that.
George, yes, please.
Yes, we, as you know, we had bargaining sessions with CSEA regarding reopener articles to the current contract. We're able to settle, so it is recommended the Board of Education approve the tentative reopener agreement between California School Employees Association, Chapter 502, and the Franklin-McKinley School District. CSEA ratified this TA agreement on November 7th.
Any comments, concerns, and we need a motion, a second item, 11.03.
Move to approve the tentative reopen agreement between CSEA and FMSD.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, 11.03. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 11.04, the memorandum of understanding MOU with CSEA salary increase.
Yes, that would be me. Part of our negotiation, we were able to agree on a memoranda of understanding regarding salary increase. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the CSEA one-time payment of 2.34% for the 25-26 academic school year and a 2.24% on salary schedule increase for the 26-27 academic school year.
Thank you, George. Board members, any discussion, comments, and now I need a motion on 11.04.
Move to approve 11.04.
I second.
All right, so a motion, a second, item 11.04. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Now we move on to 11.05. 11.05, the amended 2026-2027 school calendar. Superintendent, do you want to address that one?
I'll take that, Board President. Yes, so part of the calendar committee, every year we have a calendar committee made up of administrators, teachers, FMEA members, CSEA members, parents, and we take a look. We try to do our calendars 2 years out. And one of our main goals is to align our calendars the best we can with the Eastside Union High School District, because we know that many of our families have students that are in both districts. The 26-27 calendar last school year when we met, Eastside did not have that calendar available at that time. So what we did as a committee recently, we took Eastside's 26-27 calendar and we compared it to our approved 26-27 calendar, and we made the committee decide to make a few adjustments. One other thing is once the committee makes adjustments to calendars, then each bargaining group pushes it out for a vote. So FMEA, CSEA, and management. And so here's the amendments down here. The fall break and spring break were moved to align with the 26-27 Eastside Union High School school calendar. So you see the adjustments there. So it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the amended 26-27 school calendar.
Okay. So the high school calendar is pretty well set. There's not going to be any changes there, hopefully.
No, like I said, at that time, Eastside's wasn't available. So the only changes that we did do was align our fall break and spring break.
Okay. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me because that's when families are on break and the kids at different grade levels are on break too.
Yep.
So makes sense. Board members, any questions, comments, concerns in that?
I'd just like to know why when I was in school, I didn't have a fall break.
Okay. Yeah, motion a second, item 11.05.
Move to approve 11.05.
Second. Okay, we have motion second, 11.05. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion passes. Let's go to 11.06, the 2027-2028 school calendar. Again, George.
Yes, so at the same time, our committee looked at East Side's calendar, looked at our current proposal regarding two calendars for 27-28, and it is recommended the Board of Education approve and adopt the 27-28 school calendar. This one does align the fall and spring break with East Side Union, so yes.
Okay, any discussion, comments? Okay, the motion is second on item 11.06. To approve the 11.06.
Second.
Okay, so a motion, a second to approve 11.06. And thank you, George, for aligning those contracts with East Side. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Okay, let's jump on to number 12. Communications from the superintendent. Superintendent, go ahead.
Given the lateness, I'll give my time to the board for your reports.
All righty, let's go to communications from the Board of Education. And let's go ahead and start with Board Member Cooper. Am I right?
All right, thank you. I was October 31st, I was able to go to Franklin Halloween Parade. That was awesome. And I did go into the haunted house, which was truly scary. But thankfully there was a paramedic available. So and then on November 7th, I was able to meet with Dr. Trujillo, as I try to regularly do. Yeah, we're doing with our education and our programs. So that was very insightful and informing. And then right after that meeting with Dr. Trujillo, I went to a Franklin Fall movie night, and that was awesome to see that as well. On the 12th, I was able to go to Windmill Springs and Bridges for site visits, which I always love doing, go and see education progress and seeing students enthusiastic and willing to be at school. And so that was good. Then on the 13th, I was able to go and took zillions of pictures. Awesome. Catholic Charities volunteer spectacular that they had. That was truly encouraging to see the community show up. So many people to thank Catholic Charities and volunteers for all the hard work that they do. And then on the 14th, just recently here, I was able to go to the Santee's Ruby Bridges walk. And again, that was awesome to see the community involved as well as the school involved, celebrating that memorial event that happened decades ago now.
Thank you, Board Member Cooper. Board Member Rodriguez.
Okay, I also attended the Ruby Bridges walk at Santee, and also attended the volunteer recognition for with Catholic Charities and FMCI. And then I also had an opportunity to attend a very interesting training called non-cooperation training by Working Partnerships USA, and basically shared information about school districts and schools and working with the issue of all of the immigration challenges that we face today.
Thank you, Board Member Rodriguez. Board Member Sanchez.
Thank you. October 30th, I went to the Santa Clara County of Education, their fall reception. They did have a panel there of EL students that were able to speak on their experience and also the highlights of getting their seal of biliteracy. So that was great to see. Trustee Hong Ha was unexpectedly called to the panel too. So good job. November 5th, I went to the Seven Trees community meeting hosted by D7. It really focused about the impact of the federal cuts and also neighborhood safety. So there was a presentation by SJPD, just kind of informing the community on how to better protect their property and their houses. I met with families and parents November 6th at Rocket Ship Spark. We got to hear from some of the families and hear their testimonials. And I was also able to reiterate kind of the expectations that the district has, just to make sure that the charter schools were doing everything that we were asked. That same night, I went to the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the SAP Center.
Every year they induct 5 athletes into the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame. 2 of them are former Eastside students. So one went to Independence, one went to Santa Teresa. One was for wrestling, and then the other one was for rugby. And so that was a really nice ceremony. Mayor Mahan was there, and he was giving remarks of a lot of the upcoming sporting events in San Jose and Santa Clara County. So it's going to be a busy couple of years coming up. I also went to the movie night at Franklin Elementary. They have folklorical dancers from Andrew Hill, which was great. Great turnout of families. We saw Lilo and Stitch, so it was a pretty good movie. I also went to the FMCI Volunteer Appreciation Dinner at Bridges. So again, big shout out to all the volunteers that we have in the district, as well as our partners, Catholic Charities, Second Harvest, etc., Credit Union, Excite Credit Union. And then this Saturday, I saw Superintendent Cruz there, but we went to the Santa Clara County School Board Association Symposium titled Developing the Picture for Unhoused Students. And so there we got to hear from different panels about how we can better support our McKinney-Vento students. In Santa Clara County, we have over 5,000 unhoused students. And so it was a really informative panel just to ensure that we're doing everything that we can to give equitable resources to our unhoused students in the county. That was a great symposium. And that is my report. And thank you, board members. Board member Hong Ha.
Thank you. Over the past month, I visited schools and community partners. I also attended the Santa Clara County School Board Association Fall Dinner, where I was unexpectedly participated as a panelist alongside my Andrew Hill students, sharing about the multilingual learners in our community and the power of the California Seal of Biliteracy. And it was really a proud moment for me to highlight the importance of language, identity, and work, and to uplift our multilingual students. On October 31st, I attended Shirakawa's Halloween parade, and I also got a tour of the district office. It was really adorable to see the Halloween parade at the district office, but then I actually got a chance to see different parts of the district office that I normally had a chance to see, like the warehouse. It's much bigger than I expected, and it was a good reminder that there's a lot of invisible work that goes into keeping our schools running smoothly. On November 3rd, I visited Rocket Ship Spark. I had a chance to speak with families and students, and I learned about all the things that were happening. Later that week, I had a chance to do an actual school visit, and we talked a little bit more about the continued collaboration between Rocket Ship Spark and our FMSD schools. I also had a chance to attend Literacy Night at Seven Trees Library with Rocket Ship Spark. I saw one of their Los Dichos sessions, and I learned a little bit more about the 5-finger rule when selecting just the right book. And it was really great to see our communities come together, prioritizing literacy and making reading joyful and accessible to all of our students. On November 6th, I attended the Roan Fall Festival at the very tail end of it after work. And I ran into an Andrew Hill student, actually, who was a former LaRone student who comes back to volunteer. And I think moments like that really show the strength in our community and the pride that our students have in giving back. I also really enjoyed seeing the beautiful artwork in the cafeteria. On November 8th, I attended the Eastside Union High School District Hall of Fame. And I love going to these types of events because I get to hear stories from leaders and alumni who have shaped our community. And I was really excited to meet one of the alumni who was honored this past year. On November 12th, I attended Franklin-McKinley's Children Initiative Dinner at Bridges, and it really highlighted the real impact of FMSD has on their families. Congratulations to Miss Lorena from Shirakawa for receiving Volunteer of the Year, and her dedication really shined through. On November 14th, I attended the Ruby Bridges Walk at both Dahl and Santee. I think it was great hearing from students and former trustee Milan Valentin about the importance of this day, and watching our students honor Ruby Bridges' courage was really moving with their chants. And this past Sunday, I attended like a Moon Festival community celebration. Thank you for everybody that made it possible. And FMSC was recognized at that. And I found out that they were able to donate a good chunk of money to our McKinney-Vento students who are in our area. And before I end, I want to say that as we head into our Thanksgiving holiday, I want to express my gratitude for our students, families, and staff and community partners. Every visit that I had this month reminded me deeply of how people care about our children. And I hope that everybody finds time to rest and recharge, enjoy time with loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Hong Ha. I did a couple similar things, attended the Santa Clara County School Boards Association dinner. It was real nice. Kids did a great presentation, and Board Member Hong Ha did great too. An impromptu job they gave you right away. Also attended a volunteer appreciation dinner at Bridges, very well attended. Great performances by the kids out there. So kudos to all the award winners, and the whole board was there, so that was kind of nice. The superintendent, nice to see. Very, very well done event. Also helped out with the food drive a little bit toward the end because I subbed in a school. So toward the end, I ran over. Helped out at Lerone, close up the food drive there. Also went to a couple of Halloween parades, one at Franklin, one at Santee. They were both very, very nice. Very well attended, kids all dressed up. Also went to the East Side Hall of Fame Recognition Awards, had a former student is recognized also from Orfeld High School, all-around student. Now he's a superintendent over in Chandler, Arizona. So his doctorate degree too, so went on to do some great things. That is my report tonight. Superintendent, back to you. No report tonight? Okay, all right. So with that, we move on to finish the last couple of items here. We will go to learning a new system here, everybody. All right, so we'll go to future business. 14.01, any agenda item requests, board members? No, okay. 15, future meeting dates. Our next meeting date is December 9th. We will be at Hellier School from 6 to 7. And then we'll be back here at 7:30, District Service Center. 15.02, January 13, 2026, a regular board meeting at the Service Center. And 15.03, and January 27, 2026. He's already in the new year at 7:30. We'll be Stonegate, meeting at Stonegate, 7, back here at 7. Closed session, we're not going to close session, so we go number 7 for adjournment. I need a motion for adjournment and a second.
Adjourn.
Second. Yes, we have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So this time the meeting is adjourned.